Yo, what up? It's C Lance. You're tuning into Breaking Records Radio, my favorite radio for underground hip hop, and I show you support. Peace.
But actually, one thing I wanted to ask you as well too, like this isn't part of my notes, but just with you coming up in Boston, you ever worked with that OG?
I never did. No,
No?
never did. I've worked with obviously Esoteric, Slain, Terminology.
Yeah.
I was trying to get Big Shug on my album, but yeah, I know, right? That'd be crazy. It just didn't, like, the timing didn't work out. But
I got a verse from Shug I've been sitting on for like 5 years actually.
You gotta put that out.
Anyways, politics, different people involved. We just haven't been able to hash it out properly, but we do plan on putting that out eventually. But no, it's just ironic you said that though. But Big Shug, yeah, that's a legend right there, man. I do want to cover, obviously, because you've been pumping out a ton of material this year. You're doing an album every month that only samples from specific countries.
Yeah.
I love this idea. Tell me a little bit about this, like the process. Like the only thing I've ever really seen like this, I know Madlib did a couple special editions of like the Medicine show where he did, a couple segregated areas and specific samples and stuff, but I've never really seen anything quite to the degree of like what you're doing. And like, I really like the way that you've branded them and the artwork you've done to represent them, and the titles, the way that you titled them is incredibly creative. Like, what was kind of the thought process behind doing something so creative and original?
So what started was I landed on like a gold mine of like Japanese samples, just like a bunch of like stuff that sounded like Black Helicopters, nonfiction. So I started just making a bunch of beats with Japanese samples, and I put out that album, The Ghost of Mount Fuji, in 2020. I put that out, and that was like my first big instrumental release, and it just did really well. Like, I didn't even know that there was really a fan base out there for instrumental albums, because I feel like you and I and like other producers like that stuff, but I didn't think the casual fan would like listen to that. So I put that out there. I sold out of the merch in like 2 days. And then I was like, man, maybe I got something here with like a country themed instrumental album. So then I announced that I was going to be doing one every month of a different country. And I asked the fans, what countries do you want to see? And I just like, the support was like just like way more than I expected. Like, I was like, oh, okay, they're actually interested in this. So, because I know, like, as a fan, I would love if Alchemist did, something like that. Like, I'd be listening every month. So I started in January of 2021. I did another Japanese album because I just had so many Japanese beats. So, and they're not necessarily beats that many of the guys I work with now like would rap on. Like, they're kind of more so for like listening pleasure, Like, I get a lot of people who hit me up and they say that they listen to my music when they're studying like schoolwork, which is kind of interesting to me. But or I'll get a lot of people who say that they put it on when they meditate, and so it's not necessarily for rappers, these albums that I put out. But so I started with Japan in 2021, and then it's just like, one thing that's really cool about doing these albums is I'm learning stuff. So it's kind of cool for me. I'm learning stuff about each country. Like, I learned about like certain like landmarks in Japan, certain like tourist attractions in France. Like, it's like, just, I'm learning stuff. I'm learning like the language too, because I do a lot of research on each country while I'm working on it. Because like you mentioned, the titles are are really themed to that specific country. So, and what's even more cool about when I announced the whole thing is that I had one album done out of the next 11 months. So I've been kind of working on it as the, like it'll like trigger in my head, like, man, I got to get next month's album done, So it kind of like, but also it keeps me on my toes. It keeps me working like every single day. Like,
pressure builds diamonds, right?
Yeah. So I just dropped, I think it was last week or the week before, Bulgaria.
Yeah.
And then next month, I haven't announced it yet, but I'll say it in here. It's going to be Africa.
Woo,
and
shit.
Yeah, and I'll tell you right now, it was the most difficult one.
Really?
Yeah, because there ain't many African samples out there.
Oh yeah, I guess, right? Yeah, probably not a huge actual industry.
Not based off of like, because also I'm trying to make good beats too. Like, I'm not just trying to take any sample and, I'm like, when I'm making these beats, I do make them in mind of like, would Paz pick this? So I'm not just trying to make like, half-ass beats. So Africa was really difficult. It was one of the most difficult ones. And then the country after that, I'm not going to say what it was, but I have like 20 beats that I made for it, because it was just every song was a sample.
Really? Right?
Yeah.
That's incredible, man. I love the idea though. I think it's super innovative. And it's just cool, man. Like, because one thing I think that has kind of been lost, it's like you said, like, I think a lot of like Alchemist, stays putting out beat tapes and stuff, but a lot of there's not a whole lot in that market anymore of just beat tapes. And I think one thing
I don't think so.
Cool is a theme, like any, like, you know what I mean, like, and this is no disrespect to the late great, but like Jay Dilla beat tapes, right? I know they're incredibly renowned by some people, but myself, I never really got that into them, because a lot of them felt like just kind of a mix. Like, there wasn't so much of a cohesiveness to the listening experience. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I agree.
I wanted to hear like Common come in on this one, and Black Dot come in on this one, and Elzai come in on this. Or, you know what I mean? Like it's like you could almost hear like, oh, this almost sounds like could have been made for Busta, or like, you know what I mean? But like, and it's kind of sporadic, and which I guess kind of it is what it is, and that's kind of, I guess, part of the listening experience for those. Like, that's what it's supposed to be. But I like the idea and the way that you've kind of curated, these concepts. And what better way to do it than by region? Because you know better than I do, regions all have a sound. It's like the way that hip hop in the States, you know what I mean? Like, New York had a sound, but Philly had a sound, and LA had a sound, and the South had a sound. And even though there might be, bits and pieces that overlap in all of these sounds, Miami had its own sound, you know what I mean? But like, even regions in one country have their own sound. So to go internationally, what better way to make cohesive pieces of art, you know what I mean, than to drop specific places. Like, it's a great idea. I love it.
And I'm specifically picking countries that not necessarily will have any sort of like the same sound, like how I did Japan. I didn't do China too, because it's kind of like the similar like instruments, because one cool thing about this whole thing is that different countries have a lot of different instruments. Like that vintage Japanese sound, whatever that instrument is that they use. Like, I don't even know what it is, but like, what I'm talking about.
I do. Yep.
So it's like,
it's like almost sounds like a flute meets a guitar.
Yeah, right. That's what I don't know what it is, a harp or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But Yeah, that's the one cool thing. And just like the thing that really made me motivated about it too is like the fans just like they enjoy it. So,
Yeah.
you know, not all fans will be really into like, you know, the history of each country and like the work I put in to title each song. Like I understand like the casual 2021 fan doesn't even, you know, they'll just listen to it and then put on another album in 2 seconds. But, you know, I put a lot of time into the history of each country and each title of the beat. So, you know, like even for me, it's a lot of fun. And for someone that makes beats every day, like I said earlier in the interview, like I have to find ways to keep it fun for me, like to keep me, you know, motivated to have fun every day to do it. So
Yeah.
these monthly albums have been that. Like it's made like it's given me a lot of like, you know, fun into making beats.
And it forces you to step outside your comfort zone too, right? Which I mean, you know, as we were discussing earlier, somebody like yourself, you're no stranger to stepping outside of your comfort zone already, but it's just a whole nother new way to do it. You know what I mean? All the stuff you're gonna learn along the process, those are all tools that you're gonna have in the kit for later, you know, when doing more future production. Like, you know, I love the idea. I love the way, you know, as a creative, like I can see from a creative perspective how it could be fun and how it could build your repertoire for moving forward. But I can also, from a fan perspective and as, you know, a connoisseur of art, really appreciate the work and the time you've put into not only creating it, but like you said, researching so you can title the beats and the album titles and the artwork that goes into it. It's like each one is its own artistic piece. And I think that part alone is just, you know, it's really, really impressive.
Thanks. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm just happy that people are enjoying it because, like I said, it's a lot of time and effort that I've put into, you know, researching it. So, yeah, I mean, it's really cool.
Now, I know you don't want to expose what countries you have coming after Africa, but I'm just gonna say this: I don't want you to elaborate on if it's coming or not. I just got to get this off, but I hope you do Ireland.
What country?
Ireland.
Uh, I mean, we have what 4 or 5 months left. Yeah, until next January, and who knows? I might even do it in 2022 because there's just so many countries. But one idea that I do have, and it has nothing to do with the country albums, is I put a post on my Facebook maybe like a month or two ago, and I was like, would you guys be interested in a retro video game instrumental album?
I seen that.
And like I had like 1,000 comments of just like, yo, sample this game. And I was like, all right, well, I guess I'm doing this.
No, that's a dope idea, man. And you know, and I hate to relate things to me continuously. I don't like doing that in an interview, but just the fact that you said it, I have to bring it up is damn near 8 years ago, but on one of my older albums, somebody gave me a beat, and still to this day, it's one of my favorite beats I rapped on. Even though it's not that intricately done, it's just what they sampled. They sampled the NES Nightmare on Elm Street 16-bit.
Yeah.
Oh my god, bro, you know what I mean? But like just the nostalgia you get when you hear a beat that you're like, yo, I used to hear that 24 hours a day, you know what I mean? When you're a kid and you're playing that and that just loops in your head over and over and over again. It's like when you hear that stuff brought back to life in an instrumental piece, it's like that is so cool. So I love that idea, man.
Yeah, I think a lot of fans will enjoy that because it'll bring them back to like when they were with their brother playing a game in 1989. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
and there's so many of them too. There's so many cool, like, you know, like those little 16-bit instrumentals. Like there's so many that actually are cool and catchy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like Sega Genesis, like, and now with YouTube, like you can just type in like, you know, Super Nintendo soundtrack and just like millions of games come up. So it's like it's just so easy to find that stuff now.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
you don't even have to rig up the fucking system to your MP or nothing. You can literally
No. Yeah.
The hard part's done for you. You just gotta be creative.
Yeah, right. So that'll be cool. I'm looking forward to doing that. And I might do like depending on if I have time, I might do some sort of like Halloween instrumental. I'm not sure yet, but I might start one.
That'd be cool too. That'd be really cool. I like that though. I like the idea of doing beat tapes and then I think that's really, really dope. And as long as you keep putting them out, I'll be here to listen to them, man, because I love that idea. I love that concept. And I think the thing that's cool about beat tapes too is it is like you said, like, I don't know if I'd meditate to a beat tape, you know what I mean? And, you know, homework, you know, that's more my podcast, you know, listen to podcasts, but like beat tapes are just great for when you're just like walking around the street, you know what I mean? And you're just like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, they put you in a zone, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like, and I think not enough people really cater to that, you know what I mean? Like, you don't always want to be listening to music about, I'm gonna be punching someone in the face, or I'm gonna be doing this, or, you know, songs specifically invoke so much emotion just by the lyrics, but just instrumental, you know what I mean? It leaves the palette open for whatever you might be doing while you're listening to it, you know what I mean? And that's one thing I think is really cool about it as well.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I wish more producers did them. Like, I kind of feel like it's like a lost art. Like, you know, I know Evidence recently dropped one, and Alchemist does still do it. Like, I think he just did Rapper's Best Friend 6 or something. I think it just came out.
I think you're right. Yeah,
I haven't even heard it, but I gotta check that out.
All right, be careful. You listen to it, then you'll be making Alchemist beats for 24 hours.
Yeah, it's true. I'll start making Alchemist beats, and then I'll have to go back to my own stuff after that.
I got the Midas Touch, everything I hold a touch combust to gold dust. You see me as a threat, but you don't need to sweat, cause your girl know I keep her wetter than a Chia pet. Ain't nobody give a fuck when you're doing bad. Motherfuckers wanna hate when you're doing good. Hoping that this feeling doesn't stay. Getting drunk every day, waiting till it goes the fuck away. Then I wake up to another day just to face reality again. Cause the buzz of pain doesn't change a fucking thing. Nothing comes next, I wonder what's next. I used to be atheist, but now I just say fuck it, I'm blessed. Fuck it, I'm blessed. They say it's easier said than done, so I'm working till I get it done.